Buenos días, señor. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, thank you.
It surprised you. I started in Spanish, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah, you did.
Pero un bueno acento, ¿no?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. All right, don't compliment me too much. My head will get too big. Hey, tell our audience, if you would, who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Julio Cepeda. I've been in managing and directing business for more than 20 years in all Latin America and in the US, different enterprises and different projects. And basically, I started in Argentina, my home country, and then I moved to Brazil, Mexico, back to Brazil, the US, back to Mexico, and now back in Argentina for a few months.
All right. Good. Nothing like good Argentine steak. There's no doubt about it. Um,
Yeah.
well, I know this could be a long answer, but if you can briefly start us off by just giving us what your definition is of leadership.
Okay, as you said, it could be a long answer, but let's do it in a very short and precise way. I would say leadership is something that you face, or I face in every instant, every moment of my career, adjusting to different situations, to different kind of people, and obviously always to get the best results of everything. And basically, I think it's a way of adjusting yourself in directing and finding the way to move the people towards the objective that the company has.
It sounds right on to me. How have you determined, in your experience, the right fit leadership needed in organizations and because different organizations, obviously, you got corporate America, you got entrepreneurial. How do you determine the right fit leadership needed?
Well, it takes some time in the beginning when I started a different project, and many of them were by far different one from the other. It took me a little bit of time in the beginning to adjust, to find the right fit, and then proceed with that. Once you find that's the way to manage this group, or the way of handling all the efforts in the same direction, it takes some time. It's not automatic.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And with respect to you've worked with boards, you know about boards of directors. They can be valued leaders in businesses too, or not, depending on how they're put together. When you're in the executive part of a business, how do you determine what you look for in a board?
Well, being on the executive side, basically the first thing is to get the board understand what you really want to do and the way you want to do it. And once you get their support, that's the right fit. But before that, as you said on management and leadership, you have to find out how that board really works. What are the different things that should be informed, and what the people really needs before getting into a direction in the same direction you're going through.
If you're looking for a board position or joining a board yourself, what would you look for?
Well, I think I would look for in how in what way I can contribute based on the experience and being on the other side of the game. How can I really work and give some extra values and things that are contributions to the board?
We've noticed it happening a lot, not just on boards, but obviously in organizations for different reasons. Diversity has become a big point. Not only diversity, like women, black, white, but way more diversity than that. And I think it does apply to businesses in itself and to boards. You've certainly got a lot of international experience in diversity. In your opinion, how does diversity bring value to an organization?
Well, basically because of the different points of view, the different cultures, and how they work on their points of view, that's the rich part of the diversity. The difficult part sometimes is to handle those differences in terms of values and culture. But in essence, at the end, it's a
Well,
contribution.
when you've worked in different countries, and you try to develop a team or a success story, a winning culture. I assume then you had to be aware of what the different interpretations, the different communications, and the different cultures were to be able to do that.
Oh, definitely. That's what was mentioned in the process of understanding the situation, understanding the culture and the business. It takes some time, and you find it's incredible because when you adjust, it's a matter of practice. When you're getting used to do that, you end speaking even with the same language and the same slang that the people locally are using, and that's the best way to get into the common aspects and to be understood easily. But it takes time.
I think you're 100% right. But one thing I find interesting is people often think that if it's the same language being spoken, American, United Kingdom, all the different countries in Latin and South America, etc., that they should all know how to get along. But just because it's the same language, there's definitely different cultures, correct?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. No, and yeah, very different one from the other.
And how did you find? Again, you said you worked in different countries in Latin America. How did you handle that from a leadership perspective?
Well, the first thing is to get involved in the first period you're in that new position to be, I don't know, probably 10, 12 hours involved in the business in the country and in the way they act, the way they react. Some countries are very delicate in the way they receive information and the way the things are said. For instance, in northern South America or in Northern America, not in your country, but in different countries you have different styles. In the South, in Brazil, you have a very open and very funny way of saying things, which is quite opposite to my country or to Mexico.
Yeah, I know when I was leading an international leadership development organization, we actually coached, including myself, we actually coached each person before they traveled to another country, exactly on some of the things you said about, how you say it, how you use your hand gestures, different traditions, things like that, because they could actually be, correct me if I'm wrong, significantly or taken significantly different from different people, correct?
Correct. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of differences between the entire countries in South and Central America.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you, business-wise, what characteristic of business did you enjoy the most, or do you enjoy the most?
Uh, yeah, it's a difficult
Well, we're not
question.
just going to ask easy questions. That wouldn't be
I thought
fun.
that's a tough one. I suppose before happening that once I was going, when I was in the time that I received the blade and razor division from Gillette in some of the operations, and that was a big business, the money making, the strong brand. And I said, well, that's the maximum. That's what I was dreaming of. And I have to be fair and say that when they offered me a very small business full of problems and issues in the cosmetic business, I said, what a difference. I don't have the muscle, I don't have the support, we don't have the market share, we don't have almost anything. Well, that was a different situation, tougher than the other one, but also has a lot of interesting things because if you succeed, that's a big change. And in the other business, the only thing you have to do is don't lose a market share point or anything. So different types of businesses.
No,
But I
thanks.
like
Yeah,
the
what
both of
would
them.
be, was there one most interesting or challenging leadership experience that you've had in your career? That is probably more than one, but is there one or two that you recall that was tough, but it was great, or something like that?
Yeah, one of them is when I was the head of one of the cellular phones companies that was having a lot of difficulties. And the first issue was I didn't know anything about the industry. I was not an engineer. So they were talking a language I didn't understand what they were saying. So it took me some time to get all of that. And then once I was understanding the business, we decided to attack what we have to do. And we were the small company in terms of market share, and we ended up being the leaders in a couple of years. So that was
It's
a great
interesting you
story.
say that, because a lot of executives tell me that they've gone into leadership positions in businesses that they did not know the industry, but they believe they were selected because they were great leaders and they could learn the industry, not necessarily getting somebody from the industry who doesn't necessarily know how to lead it.
Exactly. I think that was the idea on the hiring. Yeah. At the beginning, I said maybe I said yes to the wrong proposal, but after a while, I said,
That's
no, this is
awesome.
great.
So if you weren't doing what you're doing, what do you think you would be doing?
Well, that's a good question also. I think I would be doing the same. My career, what I really like in life is to do and work on business development and things like that since in my early days. So I keep on doing things like that. I keep on doing some consulting and things like that. So that's
So you
definitely
didn't
what I
want to be
really
the
like.
next Maradona.
No, I wish I could.
So does
I didn't
Argentina.
have the talent.
um, um,
Yeah.
do you? We're asking a lot. These are more personal, little light questions. Do you have any? Do you have a pet or any pets?
Oh yeah, yeah. We have a couple of dogs and three cats, so we have like a zoo here.
That's great. The reason I ask is I was doing an interview recently, and the person was in his home office, and I see the door open behind, and a nose pop in, and before you know it, the dog's on his lap during the interview. So he suggested, and we might do
Yeah.
this. He suggested we do a series called Pets and Their Executives.
Yeah, I would be interested in that also. I
I
close the
know.
door because otherwise we'll be here.
Do you have a favorite activity or sport?
Yeah, golf by definition. To play is golf, and to watch is soccer.
Very
Those are my
cool. Very
two
cool.
favorite
Do you
sports.
have any favorite movies or TV shows?
Yeah, all of the action type of movie like 24 with Sutherland and Kiefer Sutherland and things like that. That's my good times to spend some and watching and having fun and
Yeah,
not thinking about anything else because they don't give you
exactly.
a
No, I'm
second to
with you. I
think.
love 24. Do you have a favorite type of music?
I would say rock, soft rock is
Good
basically
answer.
what
What
I
about
like the
type of
most.
food while you're listening to the soft rock?
Uh, well, obviously I'm very fond of the steaks and things like that, but Mexican food is one of my favorites
Good
together with
choices.
the Japanese.
Well, listen, we absolutely appreciate your time. We love doing international interviews. They're my favorite. And we will see you soon, I'm sure. Hopefully in person next time, right? Great,
Excellent.
Julio.
Yeah, sure.
Muchísimas
We'll do
gracias.
that.